Hi friends! When you want to learn about a person's life, what kind of book can you read? If you said biography or autobiography, you are correct. A biography is a story written by one person about another person's life. An autobiography is very similar, but it's a story that a person writes about their own life. At school, you might even hear the term personal narrative when you're writing a story about something that has happened in your life. Today, we're talking about your story, but not just any story, even though I bet some of you all have some funny stories about your life so far. Today, I want you to think about a specific story from your life, your God story. Each of us has a different story about how God came to be in our lives and the work He has done in our lives. These God stories are such an important part of our lives, but sometimes we might feel scared or nervous sharing it with others. Years ago, one of the pastors here at Child Msg did a series where he didn't preach. Instead, for several weeks, he invited people to share their God stories with the congregation. Guess who was one of the people he asked to share? Yep, me. I was so nervous that day. I was used to teaching children, but I was not used to talking to a bunch of people, especially about a story that was so personal to me. I'm so glad I did share my story that day, because after church was over, so many of my church friends and family walked up to me and talked about how they could connect to my story or that it inspired them in different ways. Our God stories have power. They have the power to connect us with other people. They have the power to reach people who might not have thought about God in the same way. And they have the power to bring God to people who might not have their own God story yet. I know it can be scary, but I want to challenge you to start by just thinking about your God story today. If someone asked you about your life with God, what would you say? I'll give you a helpful hint. Start at the beginning and just go from there. Once you start thinking about your God story, you will be amazed at how much He has been in your life, whether you've known God for years or just a few months. And if you ever want to share your God story, I know there is someone out there who needs to hear it. So share away. See you next week.